Thank you for clicking Dr. Samurai channel. In this video, I would like to discuss the very roots of Ms. Marjorie Taylor Greene, especially focusing on where aggressive strength comes from. My name is Dr. Samurai. I am a professor specialized in international social pathology and also an active prison counselor of 20 years experience. I am hoping this video will help to deepen your understanding of today's society for you to attain true happiness on this planet Earth. As usual, I would like to provide you some basic brief information first, and then like to move on to our main discussions in the latter half. Are you ready? Okay, let's start. So, the topic is the roots of Ms. Marjorie Taylor Greene and where her aggressive strength comes from. I am basing this discussion on online article The U.S. Sun, written by Katharina Gioino, titled Set Free. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says her father has died as she reveals tremendously a difficult time in Congress, which was uploaded on April 12th, 2021. Ms. Taylor Greene is now well known to be the QAnon representative, and she confessed the first few difficult months as a congressman. My father passed away last night after a hard-fought battle over the past 3 months with melanoma. Most people don't know how tremendously difficult my first 3 months of Congress have been. The article started like that. And she uploaded a long Twitter thread herself. So this is her own words. While I have endured the flaming arrows fired daily at me while I have been fighting against the left's war on our freedom in Congress, my soul was torn apart watching my daddy suffer and slowly die with the cancer, she says. And she uploaded a few of pictures of her mom and dad at the hospital. We don't win every battle we fight, but my amazing father won the war, and he taught me how to withstand the greatest enemy. My dad was the forgotten American man that President Trump worked so hard for. My dad grew up with very little, but with the faith in God and dreamed the great American dream. He worked every job from riding a bike, delivering newspapers, to factory work, to construction work, and all in between while trying to go to school. Her father was actually drafted when he was 20 years old to serve U.S. Navy in Vietnam. And she goes, he lost friends there, just like many did. He met a girl after his service when he went back to college, married my mom, and they had a little girl named Marjorie. And she said her dad couldn't finish school, but instead studied a construction company that put a roof over their heads and fed us, clothed us, and Dad provided our family's every need. She also said she spent plenty of time growing up fishing and driving with her dad. And adding, the greatest thing my father's hand ever did was they taught me how to pray. And my dad's big, strong hands put my tiny hands together when I was young and introduced me to God. And last night, the mighty hands that formed and created my dad's hands and the wonderful man that my father is lifted him up and took him home to heaven. And she goes, today we rejoice that his pain is gone and he has been set free, because cancer is highly painful. It makes very good sense. Oh, if you like this kind of serious discussions, please click that yellow and green good luck charm logo, because my Dr. Samlai channel continuously discuss serious topics in a serious manner. Now, I would like to dig deeper into what she said in her thread. You know, when you choose to become a university professor or a researcher, there are two ways. One is quantitative research, which uses statistics. The other is called qualitative research, which doesn't use statistics, but mainly looking for a new direction by interviews and all those measures that has to do with human acts and relationship. And one of that qualitative research is called discourse analysis or content analysis. So what I would like to try here is content analysis of the discourse that Ms. Taylor Greene left in her thread. We usually look for words which repeatedly appears, and also keywords that person placed greater emphasis on. The words which is most frequently used here is my dad. So we can tell her current personality or persona is solidly based upon father's teachings, that we can tell. And based upon that, there are two things which she placed extra emphasis on. One is that her faith in God, as she mentions, the greatest thing my father's hands ever did was they taught me how to pray. So probably he put his hands on her tiny hands and prayed together at church. So her spiritual backbone is Christianity and God rather than science or facts. And the other thing that stands out of this discourse of hers is the phrase, the greatest enemy. She goes, we don't win every battle we fight, but my amazing father won the war, and he taught me how to withstand the greatest enemy. Fight the battle against the greatest enemy is the other phrase she put the extra emphasis on. And if I would add another, it would be my father was the forgotten American that President Trump worked so hard for. So, in my brief discourse analysis, the most important keyword is her dad. Then pray for God and fight the battle against the greatest enemy. And lastly, Mr. Trump worked so hard for so many forgotten American like his dad. These four are the major elements in her discourse. And what can we tell from these four? We can read her dad worked very hard to feed his family. And although he was very poor, worked so many jobs, riding his bike, delivering newspaper, doing factory work, construction work, and then in between those works, he went to school. Truly hard-working American. And he genuinely loved Miss Greene, because she says they spend plenty of time together fishing and driving. And it seems like her dad truly loved his daughter. But what we cannot miss is the point that he taught the importance of faith, and also he imprinted idea that there are great enemies around us. This deserves our emphasis. Probably it comes from his hard work to make ends meet, to finally set up his own business, but also because of his experience in Vietnam War, which forced him experience losing his important friends. The poverty, hard work, and built his own business in one generation against all those forces around him. He could be called being an upstart. So this is my speculation, because all her life is based on her parents, especially her dad. Everything other than what dad taught her means nothing to her. Her life starts on her dad's belief that he earned through his hard life. Because he loved her so much, she cannot see anything else, and she cannot accept anything else. And what did her father teach her? It's God and fighting against the enemy. And probably she saw something similar in Mr. Trump as being a father figure, because I speculate what Mr. Trump is saying is highly similar to the teachings by her father. You know what I'm saying? So the base of her thinking is God. So she does not accept the science or nature or truth of fact. That's one thing. And because he had to fight to set up his own business in one generation, and also had to survive the Vietnam War, literally, he unconsciously imprinted thinking patterns of either ally or enemy, black or white way of thinking. So the reason why she can go so strong on somewhat man-made conspiracy-like idea is her base is belief in God all the way. That's the difference from the ordinary people. Ordinary people, they live everyday life, and although the Christianity is important part of their life as something that shows direction, it is not like they totally depend on Christianity 100%. But in her case, everything starts there because that's what her father taught. That's the base. And other thing he taught was probably she is surrounded by so many great enemies. So she keeps fighting. Although she may not win all the wars, she must keep fighting. That, I speculate, he taught and imprinted in her. Those two things, enemies, and her base is God, not any other facts. And this is today's value. As I have been telling you, human beings are born as part of nature on this earth. This fact nobody can deny. No religion can deny. No philosophy can deny. But if the belief in God is too strong, and if they truly believe that God created human beings, and all those things like Christmas and Santa Claus and all those things they believe for real, it could cause problems. You know what I'm saying? Because you grew up to believe in Santa Claus, but it becomes big issue when the parents disclose the truth that there's no real Santa Claus, right? But if that person believes that there's a Santa Claus for real for all her life, that is a problem, right? That's what I'm telling you, And the similar thing is happening in her thinking, because his father loved her so much, and she loved her father so much back. The same as to what the society is made of, allies or enemies. That I infer her father taught her from the information she left in her thread. And here's the thought I wanted to tell you. I dealt with the topic authoritarian personality before. There are two developed authoritarian personality. One is highly oppressive parenting. There's no saying no to what the parents say. So kids accept their parents' value, although at the same time they develop anger because those values are forced on them. The other type is imprinting parents' values through mutual communication. In most cases, parents use conditional love. When kids did what they liked, they loved the kid. But when the kid did what they did not like, they show no love. Conditional love. But this is my speculation, okay? In Ms. Greene's case, it was not a manipulation by her father. Her father really loved her with no intention of manipulating her. Because she was a girl, he might have taken a soft approach. He loved her so much, but at the same time, he imprinted his valued so deeply mixed in his love. And because she was genuinely loved by her father, she can be so positive and strong because of the positive energy was inserted by her father, together with not ordinary way of thinking, which is solidly based upon Christianity and including fighting against enemy thinking. So, in a nutshell, her strongly aggressive, unshakable character comes from special type of authoritarian parenting in which her father mixed true love and some biased thinking together and imprinted it into her mind as part of his genuine love. This is my speculation. This is all I like to say. Thank you very much for listening, and when you have time, it might be good for you to think about the way you are brought up by your parents. Up until next time, wherever you are, my friend, on this same small planet Earth during the same period of time. Okay, bye-bye now.